Sturtl is the global market leader for heavy-duty lifting equipment. With production and design facilities in the Netherlands and the U.S., sales offices in the United States, United Kingdom, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Poland, and Brazil, and with more than 40 independent distributors worldwide, providing superior lifting solutions to customers on 6 continents and in more than 50 countries. With this, Sturtl Koni products are distributed throughout the world. In the following video, we will demonstrate the recommended daily, monthly, and annual inspections, as well as adjustments required for the ST1082 mobile lifting column. Recommendations and procedures demonstrated in this video are supported by the OEM operation and maintenance manual. Shown here are the minimum tools required to complete the tasks illustrated in this video. It is required that the lift operator perform a daily walk-around inspection of each mobile column. All columns are mechanically identical. The operator should visually inspect the column by the walk-around method for obvious signs of deformation or physical damage, missing component, oil leakage. Daily inspection by operator. Operator is to inform supervisor immediately of any problems found during daily walk-around inspection. It is required that a maintenance technician perform monthly inspections and maintenance. A monthly inspection assumes the fact that daily inspections have been performed and the problems identified have been remedied. It is required that a maintenance technician perform a monthly inspection of the operation of the emergency release mechanism or emergency stop circuit. Immediately upon pushing the E-stop button, confirm that columns become inactive. You can see here that immediately once the E-stop button is activated, all columns in the set become inactive and enter a fault state. To restart a set of mobile columns, first ensure that all E-stop buttons are released. Next, power the columns off and on again. Next, confirm by visual inspection that all columns are online and ready to operate. Ensure that the knob on the manual lowering valve is hand-tight. It is required that a maintenance technician perform a monthly check of the functionality of the mechanical safety locks in a mobile column. To check the functionality of the mechanical safety locks, manually operate the mechanical safety lock and ensure it pivots without binding. It is required that a maintenance technician perform a monthly check of the guide block and column for cracks and corrosion. Ensure that there are no such imperfections evident in the structure of the mobile column. During the monthly inspection, we will also operate the pallet jack mechanism through all of its functions. First, flip the control lever full down and pump the pallet jack handle to raise the mobile column. Once the column is raised off the floor, observe to see if the pallet jack drifts down at all. Next, flip the control lever to its center position and verify that the handle is able to be freely cycled up and down without affecting the height of the pallet jack. The final step in verifying the operation of the pallet jack is to squeeze the control handle to be certain the jack then releases and settles the mobile column securely on its base. If there are any problems noted with the position of the control lever performing the desired function, these can be fixed by means of the adjustment screw near the base of the handle on the pallet jack. Simply loosen the jam nut and turn the screw in or out to adjust its position against the release plunger. Be sure to retighten the jam nut after adjustments are made. It is required that the maintenance technician perform a monthly inspection of the warning labels and operating procedures displayed on the mobile column and power box to be certain they are visible and legible. It is required that a maintenance technician perform a monthly check of all electrical cables and connections. Shown here are examples of some types of damage that may be found on the connection points on a control box. Shown here are examples of some types of damage that may be found on the connection cables. It is required that a maintenance technician perform a monthly lubrication of the piston shaft rod. Standard 30 to 40 weight motor oil is acceptable. It is required that a maintenance technician perform annual inspections and maintenance on mobile lifting columns. An annual inspection assumes that daily inspections as well as monthly inspections with maintenance are completed and that the problems identified have been remedied. As an introduction to an in-depth annual inspection and maintenance procedure, it is required that the lifts be operated through a full range of movement and functionality. Any evidence of malfunction should be addressed at completion of the required annual inspection and maintenance. It is required that a maintenance technician perform the following tasks to check the gas spring for mechanical functioning. Engage the column into a vehicle in excess of 8,800 pounds for 4 columns, but do not lower the column onto its base. When the column is raised, the gas spring should collapse, lowering the column to the floor. If once the column is supporting the required load, minimum 2,200 pounds, the gas spring does not collapse but remains extended, then it is necessary to replace the gas spring. It is required that a maintenance technician perform the following tasks to check the mechanical safety lock. To remove the lock for inspection and cleaning, it is necessary to lower the column fully to the floor. Once column is on the floor, remove the 10mm bolt retaining the locking solenoid and slip the end of the push rod out of the key in the locking pawl. Next, reach around front and lift out the locking pawl from inside the column. Once lock components are cleaned and service as required by visual inspection, reassembly in reverse order. Once reinstallation is completed on the lock assembly, it is required a maintenance technician adjust the clearance of the pawl to the locking profile. Raise the column slightly and lower it into the first mechanical locking position. Once a column is confirmed to be engaged in the lowest locking position, inspect the clearance between the lock solenoid and the push rod retaining nut, and adjust to a clearance of 1/8 to 5/32. Now raise the column to its maximum height and lower into top mechanical lock position. Check, but do not adjust the nut to solenoid clearance. The clearance should be at least 1/8 of an inch. It is required that a maintenance technician perform an annual inspection of the highest position stop through checking the programmable height limit setting. The procedure for setting the height limit is detailed in the operator and maintenance manual. First, raise each column in the set in single mode until it reaches its maximum height, at which the control system will stop the motor. Unless there are overhead obstructions in the area these columns are operated, which would require the height limit to be set at a lower level. The factory setting should be about 1¼ inch above the top locking position, or the positive stop bar on the front of the guide block should be approximately 1 inch below the stop plate at the maximum height limit. If the programmable height setting stops the mobile column below this level, first verify if the lower height setting is necessary to avoid damage by any overhead height obstructions that may be present in the area these columns are operated. If any problems are found with the height limit setting, report condition to supervisor. Engage a set of 4 columns to a vehicle and raise to mid-travel, stopping at least 1/2 inch above a mechanical locking position. Observe and report any downward drift. If there is a drift of 1/2 inch or more within 1 hour, lock out and tag out unit and notify supervisor. Raise a vehicle to maximum height. Lower the vehicle to the floor, monitoring how much time it takes for the set to descend from its full up position back to floor level. If the time is less than 15 seconds, lock out and tag out units and notify supervisor. The maintenance technician should operate the column in a set to raise a vehicle with a minimum load per column of 4,000 pounds. With the column raised to a minimum of 12 inches and not to exceed 24 inches, the maintenance technician should inspect the wear indicators to ensure that there is no contact between the wear indicator and the column. When contact is observed, lock out and tag out unit and notify supervisor. It is required that a maintenance technician change the oil in a Sturtell-Coney mobile column at an interval not to exceed 2 years. If the column was supplied with or has been converted to a panel-in style lubricant, the oil change interval is extended to 10 years. This interval is regardless of the quantity of use. Lower the column to the full down position as detailed previously. Once the column is confirmed to be fully down, locate the reservoir drain plug. Remove the drain plug and dispose of the oil in an approved manner. When changing oil to a Panelin style lubricant, ensure that no more than 5% of the original mineral-based oil remains. Fill oil to recommended level and check columns for proper operation.